In the early years of the Southern Song dynasty, there was a court official named Luz Hongai who was dispatched to Fuzhou to serve as the tax supervisor. Fuzhou, nestled against mountains and beside the sea, boasted a prosperous economy. Moreover, going there allowed him to avoid the frequent wars in the Central Plains. Therefore, he happily took his entire family to assume the post in Fuzhou. They set out that year and arrived in Jianzhou, Fujian, the following spring. At that time, Jianzhou was suffering from a severe famine and was also burdened with exorbitant taxes and levies. Everywhere, the people lived in dire straits. However, since the country was engaged in military campaigns and needed grain and silver as military provisions, the local government only cared about collecting and paying the levies, ignoring the lives and deaths of the common people. The people of Jianzhou neither had the money and grain to pay the levies nor could they endure the oppression of the government. As a last resort, they formed groups and fled to the mountains, starting a rebellion. Like a snake that cannot move without a head, the leader of the rebellion was named Fan Ruwei. He gathered more than 100,000 people, who burned, killed, looted, and advanced all the way to the city of Jianzhou. The government troops could not resist and suffered consecutive defeats. Finally, Fan Ruwei occupied Jianzhou city, proclaimed himself marshal, and sent people to plunder property everywhere. The members of the Fan family, all assigned by Fan Ruwei, became military leaders. Fan Ruwei had a nephew named Fan Zizhu, who was 23 years old at that time. This man had a unique ability since childhood. He was proficient in swimming and could stay underwater for 3 or 4 days, so he was nicknamed Loach Boy. Fan Zizhu was originally a scholar but was forced by Fan Ruwei to join the rebellion. However, despite being a rebel, he always wanted to do good deeds and never did anything immoral. Luz Hongai had a daughter, whose childhood name was Shunj. She was just 16 years old, with a delicate and beautiful appearance and a gentle personality. She also accompanied her parents to take up the post in Fuzhou. When they passed through Jianzhou city, they happened to encounter the subordinates of Fan Ruwei. Their luggage and property were completely looted, and the whole family was scattered. Luz Hongai couldn't find his daughter no matter how hard he tried. Having no other choice, he could only sigh and then went to assume his post. Shunj had tiny bound feet and couldn't walk fast. She was caught by the rebels and taken to Jianzhou city. Along the way, Shunj cried and struggled non-stop. When Fan Zizhu saw this, he felt pity for her. After asking about her family background, he learned that Shunj was the daughter of an official. So, Fan Zizhu drove away the rebels guarding her, untied the ropes on her body, took Shunj home, and expressed his feelings to her. I wasn't originally a rebel. I was forced into this situation by my relatives. If I can accept the court's amnesty in the future, I still want to be an ordinary commoner. If you don't mind my background, let's get married. Shunj was originally reluctant, but given the circumstances, she had no choice but to agree to marry him. The next day, Fan Zizhu reported his intention to marry Shunj to his uncle Fan Ruwei. Fan Ruwei was very happy to hear this. Zizhu sent Shunj to the official residence and chose an auspicious day to prepare for the wedding. Zizhu had a family heirloom treasure mirror, which consisted of 2 mirrors that could be separated or combined. The characters, Mandarin ducks, were cast inside the mirror, so it was called the Mandarin Duck Treasure Mirror. Fan Zizhu gave it to Shunj as a betrothal gift. After getting married, the couple treated each other with great respect, just like the ancient stories of a wife raising the tray to the level of her husband's eyebrows, and they regarded each other as guests, showing deep love and respect. Fan Ruwei was able to occupy Jianzhou only because of the national turmoil and the fact that the court's military forces couldn't spare attention for this area at that time. That winter, when the country was more stable, the emperor sent Han Shizhong to lead an army of 100,000 to pacify the rebellion in Jianzhou. Fan Ruwei was simply no match for Han Shizhong at all, so he had to close the city gates and defend desperately. Han Shizhong didn't attack either. Instead, he strengthened the defense lines and tightly blockaded Jianzhou. Han Shizhong and Luz Hongai were old friends. Since Han Shizhong knew that Luz Hongai, who was serving as the tax supervisor in Fuzhou, was quite familiar with the local customs and conditions in Fujian, he appointed Luz Hongai as the chief military commander of the army. They stationed together outside Jianzhou city and commanded the siege. Fan Ruwei tried to break through the siege several times but was repelled by the government troops. The situation in Jianzhou was extremely critical. Shunj said to her husband, "A loyal subject does not serve two masters, and a virtuous woman does not marry two husbands. I thought I was doomed when I was captured by the rebels. It was only thanks to your rescue that I became your wife. Now, the large army has reached the city, and Jianzhou will surely be breached. Once the city is broken, as a relative of the rebels, you will not be spared. I can't bear to watch you be killed, so I'd rather die before you." After saying this, she drew the sword by the bedside and was about to commit suicide. Fan Zizhu quickly hugged her, snatched the sword away, and comforted her. "I was implicated by my relatives and didn't join the rebellion voluntarily. Now, there's no way to prove my innocence, so I have to accept my fate. But you're different from me. You're the daughter of an official, captured here by force. What fault do you have? The soldiers under Marshal Han are all from the north, just like you. They speak the same language as you. How could they ignore the bond of fellow villagers? Maybe you'll meet an acquaintance who will inform your father of your whereabouts, and there will still be hope for your family to be reunited. Human life is of utmost importance. How can you die like this?" Shunj said tearfully, "Master Fan, I swear, if I'm lucky enough to survive, I will never marry another man. If I'm captured, I would rather die than lose my chastity." After hearing this, Zizhu sighed deeply. "With such determination, my dear wife, I can die without regret. I also swear, if I can somehow survive, I will never marry another woman, to repay your true love for me." Shunj took out the Mandarin duck treasure mirror and said, "This is the betrothal gift your family gave me. Now we each take one half and hide it carefully on our bodies. Maybe in the future, if the mirrors can be reunited, we husband and wife will be together again." After that, the couple held hands and wept facing each other. A month later, Jianzhou city was breached. In desperation, Fan Ruwei set himself on fire and died. Han Shizhong offered amnesty to the remaining rebels, but the members of the Fan family were not pardoned. Most of the Fan family members died in the chaos of war, and the others were captured by the army and escorted to Hangzhou. Seeing the precarious situation and anticipating that Fan Zizhu's life was in danger, Shunj hurriedly ran to a dilapidated house and hanged herself with a belt. By a stroke of luck, Chief Military Commander Luz Hongai happened to pass by with his troops at that moment. Seeing someone hanging in the dilapidated house, he immediately ordered his subordinates to rescue her. After she was saved, Luz Hongai stepped forward and was shocked to find that it was his daughter Shunj. He couldn't help but shed tears. Shunj woke up and took a long time to be able to speak. The father-daughter reunion after many hardships was a mixture of joy and sorrow. Shunj told her father the whole story of how she was captured by the rebels, rescued by Fan Zizhu, and married him. After hearing this, Luz Hongai just sighed and didn't say anything. After Han Shizhong quelled the rebellion in Jianzhou, he and Luz Hongai returned to Hangzhou to meet the emperor, who then rewarded them according to their merits. The details of the rewards will not be elaborated here one by one. One day, Luz Hongai discussed his daughter's matter with his wife. They thought that it was not a long-term solution for their daughter to be a young widow. So, the old couple went to persuade their daughter to remarry. Shunj told her parents about the promise she made with her husband and firmly refused to remarry. Luz Hongai scolded, "You're the daughter of a good family. It was just a last resort for you to marry a rebel. Now, thanks to the blessings of heaven, he's dead, and you're free. Why do you still miss him?" Shunj said tearfully, "Master Fan was originally a scholar and was only implicated by his relatives to join the rebels. He really had no choice. At that time, although he was among the rebels, his heart was still loyal. He always did good deeds and never did anything evil. If there is justice in heaven, he will surely escape danger. Maybe we husband and wife will still have a chance to meet again. If that day never comes, your daughter is willing to stay at home and serve you, be a widow for life, and die without regret. If you insist on making me remarry, it would be better for me to commit suicide, which would also be in line with the virtues of a woman." Luz Hongai thought what she said made sense, so he stopped forcing her. Time passed quickly, and 10 years flashed by. Lu Hongai became the commander-in-chief and led the troops to defend Fengzhou. One day, He Qinsin, an official sent by the military governor of Guangzhou, came to the commander-in-chief's office in Fengzhou to deliver official documents. Lu Hongai invited He Qinsin to the reception hall and inquired about the local customs, scenery, and the latest news in Guangzhou. Then, the two talked for a while before He Qinsin left. Shunj happened to see this man from behind the curtain in the back hall and was greatly shocked. As soon as her father returned to the room, she eagerly asked, "Father, who is the man who just delivered the official documents?" Lu Hongai said, "He is He Qinsin, an official from Guangzhou." Shunj was puzzled. Strange. His words and deeds seemed to be just like Master Fan from Jianzhou. Lu Hongai laughed loudly. When Jianzhou was breached, all those surnamed Fan met a bad end. They had no way out but death. How could any of them still be alive? The official from Guangzhou is surnamed He and is an official appointed by the court. He has nothing to do with your husband. You're just being wishful thinking. If others hear this, won't they laugh at you? Scolded by her father, Shunj felt extremely ashamed and dared not say anything more. Half a year later, He Qinsin was again sent to deliver official documents to Lu Hongai's residence. Shunj peeked at him from behind the inner curtain again and became even more suspicious. She said to her father, "Your daughter has stayed away from worldly affairs and adhered to the virtues of a woman. How could I have any more romantic thoughts? But I've observed this man surnamed He several times, and he really looks very much like Master Fan. Why don't you invite him to the back hall and question him carefully?" Master Fan's nickname was Loach Boy. When we parted, we separated the two halves of the Mandarin duck mirror and each took one half as a token of our reunion. Father, you can try calling him by his nickname and then test him with this mirror. You will surely find out the truth. Lu Hongai agreed to his daughter's request. The next day, when He Qinsin entered Lu's residence again to receive the reply documents, Lu Hongai invited him to the back hall and treated him to a sumptuous feast. After several rounds of drinking, Lu Hongai asked about his origin. He Qinsin hesitated, as if he had something hard to say. Lu Hongai said, "Isn't Loach Boy your nickname? I already know. Just tell me the truth and don't be afraid." Qinsin asked Lu Hongai to send everyone else out of the hall and then quickly knelt down. Lu Hongai helped him up and said, "There's no need for this." Only then did He Qinsin dare to tell the truth, "I'm from Jianzhou and was originally surnamed Fan. That year, my uncle Fan Ruwei incited the victims of the famine to start a rebellion. I was implicated, truly against my will. Later, when the court sent troops to suppress the rebellion, almost all the members of the Fan family were killed. Because I was always kind to others, I was rescued. Since then, I changed my name to He Qinsin." Lu Hongai asked again, "Do you have any proof?" Qinsin said, "I have the Mandarin duck treasure mirror. When my wife and I parted, we each kept one half." After saying this, he lifted his sleeves, untied an embroidered pouch from the sash of his brocade undergarment, and inside the pouch was the treasure mirror. Lu Hongai took out the other half of the mirror that Shunj had from his sleeve. The two halves of the mirror fit together perfectly, as if they were one whole. Lu Hongai was overjoyed and quickly called out Shunj. After 10 years of separation, the husband and wife reunited and embraced each other, weeping. Later, Fan Zizhu managed to restore his original surname at the Ministry of Rights and changed his name to Fan Qinsin. He was promoted through the ranks and eventually became the Governor-General of the Huai River regions. The couple lived a long life together, and the Mandarin duck mirror was passed down through generations as a precious family heirloom.